Let's talk 2023 QB rankings next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers here, and I'm going to talk about, I just put together the finishing touches on my 2023 QB rankings. I know it's still the 2022 fantasy football season, still the 2022 NFL season, but we're going to be taking a look at the early rankings for next year over the next few days and over the next week or so on Fantasy Football Today in 5. You might have seen them talking about it a little bit on Fantasy Football Today as well. And follow the Fantasy Football Today newsletter on CBSSports.com to see more of my thoughts for the 2023 rankings. But we're going to take a look. And, one thing for me coming out of 2022 that I'm really taking away is I said it before the season, the days where you can just wait on your quarterback and still get someone that you feel comfortable starting or that you can stream every week, I think those are gone because the bar for the high-end starting quarterbacks has never been higher relative to the rest of the position. And, when you talk about Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, the edge that those guys gave you over your competition this year, it was simply massive on a weekly basis. And looking ahead to 2023, my number one quarterback, I think you can go either one of two ways, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I'm giving Patrick Mahomes the edge just because I do wonder if there's maybe a point at which Josh Allen won't be a reliable 700 rushing yards guy every season, but that's what he's been the past two seasons. But just looking at Patrick Mahomes, he finished as a top 6 quarterback 12 times in 16 games this season. He had another top 7 finish, 4 more inside the top 15. He never finished worse than QB 14 this season. And the thing that's amazing about it, it required nothing out of the ordinary from Patrick Mahomes. His 6.4% touchdown rate leads the league heading into the final week of the season. It's exactly in line with his career rate. His 8.1 yards per attempt, that's a very high mark. Also right in line with his career numbers. He did this losing Tyreek Hill, and it's not out of the question that whether it's Sky Moore taking a step forward, Kadarius Toney staying healthy and being a more reliable option, it's not out of the question that this could be a better receiving core for him next season. So Patrick Mahomes, number one QB for me, but it's 1A, 1B with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, if you wanted to rank him number one, I think that's perfectly reasonable as well. He had just 3 games outside of the top 12 in his 15 games so far. Remember, the week 17 game, doesn't count officially yet, at least. His worst finish was in week 11. He had a season-low 7 rushing yards with that elbow issue as well. He was just as good as Mahomes. Both of these guys averaged basically 30 PPR or 30 points per game and 6 point per passing touchdown leagues. These two guys were massive cheat codes, and so is Jalen Hurts. I think he's got to be the number 3 guy, and I think there's a massive teardrop after number 3, Jalen Hurts. Without that late season shoulder injury, he was right there with Mahomes and Allen. Actually only had 1 game outside of the top 10. The only thing is he's less proven as an elite fantasy option. Both Mahomes and Josh Allen have been in that QB1 overall range before. Hurts is blessed with incredible weapons, a great offensive line. I wouldn't bet on a too much regression, at least. He took a little bit of a step forward as a passer, right around 40 yards per game. I'm not expecting him to get worse. I think maybe, takes a little bit of a step backwards, but he's right there. I think it's a half a tier maybe between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. But I think all 3 of them, you could make an argument for all 3 of them being worth drafting in the first 3 rounds next season. After that, I do think there's going to be a bit of a drop-off, and that's Joe Burrow as my number 4 quarterback. And we got exactly what we expected to see this season. Slightly worse efficiency from last season, but with more volume. His pass attempts per game jumped from 32.5 to 37.6. He didn't hit the same highs that Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts did, but he was nearly as consistent in terms of being a QB1. 11 top 12 finishes, that's 1 fewer than Allen, 2 fewer than Mahomes and Hurts. He falls short because he doesn't have the rushing ability that Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen have, and he's not quite as otherworldly as Patrick Mahomes as a passer. But, in terms of outside of that 3, I think he's the best bet for both floor and ceiling, although number 5, this one might be controversial. I'm sticking with Lamar Jackson as my number 5 quarterback for the 2023 season, at least for now. We'll see what happens with his free agency. We'll see what happens with the Ravens, hopefully starting to add more weapons, because his season really started to go sideways when he lost Rashad Bateman to injury in week 4. He had 3 top 5 finishes in each of the first 3 games of the season. Lost Rashad Bateman to injury in week 4. Mark Andrews struggled with injuries. And then Jackson's injury season was ultimately derailed by a knee injury as well, as we've seen over the last month. But, if the Ravens add, would love to see an A.J. Brown type to make the leap in receiving core quality that Jalen Hurts got. But even if it's not that, even if it's just a pretty good number 1 wide receiver, someone he can rely on to get open down the field especially, I think that would be so huge for Lamar Jackson. His rushing production is, maybe Justin Fields has passed him, and spoiler alert, Justin Fields is my number 6 quarterback for 2023, at least right now. But I just think Jackson, he's still got that QB1 overall upside, higher upside than Joe Burrow, obviously much less safe than him. So that's why I give Burrow the edge. If you want to see my full QB rankings for 2023, or at least my full top 12, check out the CBS Sports Fantasy Football Today newsletter on cbssports.com/newsletters. That'll be out on Thursday morning. And we'll see you tomorrow for some RB rankings for 2023. Take it easy.